Being a Member of Parliament for my constituents of Hazel Grove is an enormous privilege, but it goes beyond that. It is a full-time job with knobs on. I must declare that early in my time here, Mr Weston, I was an elected councillor and I was representing the wonderful people of Bredbury Green and Romilly. And that's classed as a second job under our current rules. So I declared the allowance I received for the couple of months before I stood down, and the details of that can be seen on my register of interests. The people who voted us here don't do so just so that we can use it as a launching pad into a media career or a consultancy or corporate boardrooms. Voters send us here to work for them. Yet in this Parliament, we've seen some members treat their responsibilities to their constituents as, at best, a part-time concern. And other members have given the detail of some of the work undertaken by the Honourable Member for Clacton, and I have indeed let him know in advance that I plan to mention him and his grifting, Mr Weston. He's been sitting for 300 days since those of us on the 2024 intake were elected. And when I was preparing my remarks, I saw that if you add together the hours he's declared having worked elsewhere, that's over 140 days on various other jobs since being first elected. And that might be understandable if, like many others, he'd spent that time when he's not here working on constituency work or fighting for those who elected him. But there's been reports in the Mirror earlier this year flagging how many constituents felt that he was not around enough. He spent hundreds of hours presenting on GB News, taking speaking fees for cryptocurrency platforms like Blockworks.
In the choice of language, it is okay to use certain vocabulary in the general, in the non-specific, but when speaking of particular members, I would just ask members to be very careful about the choice of language, such as grifting.
Welcome your advice and guidance, Chair. I'll move on to talking about those members who receive payments for posting on social media. Members of the UK Parliament should not be receiving payments from platforms like X. And I also note the register of interest for the member for Great Yarmouth, who I've also advised I would be mentioning, whose most recent donation shows that he's received more than £70,000 from X since his election to this place. Given the international nature of these companies' revenue streams and the role Elon Musk has attempted to play in US politics and increasingly his views expressed on UK politics, we should ensure that there are limitations in place to prevent potential income from these platforms unduly influencing politicians. We know the way the algorithms push content that invokes more feeling as it drives engagement, and that means the more divisive and hate-filled the content, the more some of the algorithms allow it to be seen. And I've laid some amendments to the representation of the People Bill that would address this issue, and I would really welcome government support. It's also worth noting the amount of times various members who've already been mentioned have spoken in their role in this place. And for the Honourable Member for Clacton, that's less than 50 times in 2 years. And that includes all the points of orders and supplementary questions, considerably less than any other party leader. Now, some MPs have a second job that's related to a previous career, as others have mentioned. Within these walls, there are those who've had vastly different career backgrounds, from those who were veterinarians to police officers. And there's a vast difference between being an MP maintaining a medical licence, continuing to practice at the bar, or keeping up their professional registration in nursing or social work, and as an MP treating this chamber as little more than a platform for personal enrichment. We should be honest about that difference, because members of the public already are. And so the Lib Dems don't feel that there is a strong enough argument for a blanket ban on MPs taking second jobs, as we don't believe that would be the right answer. That would force NHS doctors, care nurses and legal aid barristers to surrender their professional registrations to serve in Parliament. And that will be a concerning and counterproductive unintended consequence. We don't want a Parliament made up exclusively of career politicians. The people of Hazel Grove did not elect me to pop in here occasionally while moonlighting for a string of corporate sponsors. Many of my constituents rightly expect high standards, and some have raised concerns about the conduct of politicians, including most recently Neil from Hazel Grove, who's written to me about reports of a £5 million gift to an MP from a foreign-based billionaire. My constituents elected me to do things like fight for Stepping Hill Hospital, to get its £138 million repair bill sorted, to press for better rail services and to hold this government and any government to account. That's what every MP should be doing for the people from their patch. And we've seen scandals, and scandal after scandal, under the last Conservative government, whether it was the resignation of Owen Paterson to Partygate. Public trust in politics has been corroded, and as a country we're still paying the price for that failure. Although there are currently some restrictions in place, they don't go far enough. MPs are strictly banned from acting as parliamentary strategists, advisers or consultants. And this clearly demonstrates that there is a recognition that having a second job can contradict our role as MPs, but it's not a full solution. The Liberal Democrats have long supported broader reform to the rules for MPs' conduct. We should not end up in a situation where MPs are marking their own homework. I welcome the aims of the Modernisation Committee, but the Modernisation Committee was established almost 2 years ago. Indeed, I made my maiden speech in the debate that launched it. And yet the government has so far failed to deliver the modernisation that is sorely needed, including that related to second jobs. And I'd welcome any update from the Minister on progress and when we might expect it. Those who sit in this House of Commons must remember that we are representatives for our area and our constituents, and this is not a part-time role. That is the standard this House should expect of everyone who sits in it.